Alrighty, guys. So, those of you that saw the other video when we had started this, so this has been a few days. This cured. And I'm thinking we have a few bubbles in there. It might just be the silicone released or something. I tried to clean this off as best that I could. But it's gonna be either a Halloween or a dinosaur kind of theme. So it doesn't have to be like 100%. Because we're gonna, we're gonna add stuff to this. And let me just wipe this out. So I ended up mixing up 8 ounces of the Bond Craftor resin, the regular epoxy resin, because I wasn't sure how much this is gonna take. So we're gonna pour some in a separate cup. Like I said, there's 8 ounces. And so that would give me 3. Because I'm thinking this is going to take 2.5. So I figured whatever we have extra, we'll make something. I just don't want to mix it all in the color. So I've been going back and forth all day. I've been finishing up a project that should come out before this video. And I keep getting caught in the rain. So it has been a long day, let me tell you. But I'm just waiting for it to get dark out now. It's raining again, but hopefully I can finish that video up tonight. So I've been contemplating all day. I don't know that I want to do black. I used black glitter on the face of the TV. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is do like a purple interference powder. We might put a drop of black in just to give a little bit more of, I don't know, some eeriness to it. And let me see, we have silver, we have pink, we have violet. So we have got violet, green, blue. All right. So we're going to mix in the interference violet, and we'll see what we get for a color. And then I will probably add like 1 drop of black at a time to kind of, because this on its own is not going to show. But mixed in with a black, it should, give a, I don't know, you really can't see, all right, I'm going to put just a little bit more. It looks good, but I want to try to get it as intense as I possibly can. And if I have to mix up more, I will. I'm still contemplating on the front of it. I've moved everything, so now I'm like, where's my black pigment paste? So we're going to use the Let's Resin Black. I'm just going to do 1 drop. And I do have discount code in the description below. you can go right on the Let's Resin site, and the discount code is good for anything on there. So whether it's a powder or an ink or a resin or a mold, it works on all of it. Now see how much better, how much more purpley that looks. All right. I just wanted it to be a different color in the background. But when I put it up next to my cup, I'm not liking the color now. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's got to go. All right, let's put one more drop of black. I'd rather have it black than like a gray and be able to see through it, because I do want to put some lights in there. All right, I think we'll be good with that. And that way, that purple is going to give it a little bit of a shimmer. I don't know if you can see the shimmer in there. All right, we're going to go with that. So I am going to spray this. And I know the edges still have some on there, but I didn't want to break the surface, the tension around it. So I'm like, we're just going to go with whatever and see what we get. It was really hard with the glitter. I think this will be a good contrast. Because I couldn't even remember how much was in here, guys. It's been, I don't know, 2-3 days. I'm like, oh my gosh. All right, so we can definitely use a smidge more in there. All right, we've got 5. Let's, all right, we will go with another 1.5 ounces. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put a good amount of that in. And if I don't like the looks of the front, I can always do some rhinestones or something. All right, and then we're going to have to put some black in here. There we go, 1 drop. I think this one should be enough with the 1. Yeah, I think that's going to be good. I just want to scrape my stick and make sure there's nothing on there. Okay, let me pour the cover first, because this just goes on the outside. So I know this is not going to take much. So I'm thinking this just might be a nice contrast on the front. All right, so that is pretty full. We'll finish doming this. All right. I should have finished this the next day when I already had a plan in my head. Okay, so that's good. If we go over any more, we're going to block our little spot that our light is going to be able to go in. So I'm going to scrape this. Okay, so we'll have a little bit left in here. And then that gives us 3.5 ounces. So I think what I'm going to do with this one is because I've been thinking about doing the dinosaurs, but the dinosaurs are too big to enclose it. So I've kind of been playing, you know, a few scenarios in my head. And let me just grab my bag of dinosaurs. All right. So, and I think these take like an ounce or two. All right, so I'm just looking at like which ones I want to use. I'm gonna try to pick two. Thought I had one that had like things on the side of it, but all right, we'll do this guy and a lay down one, I guess. So I'll try and get these two poured. And we are going to use I've got this that I haven't used. This was from Craftor. So I'm going to try this in this one. Let me use this brush. Now this one is not I don't believe it's a Chameleon. I'm not sure though. I could be wrong. All right. So I think instead of doing the whole thing, I've got some on the back. And I think I opened it upside down. Of course I did. Of course I did. All right. And now let's do, this is the Chameleon Flakes, the Intense Color Shift, because I think I'm going to pour these in black so that they have like an intense color. And I'm just going to get a bunch in here. And these things are going to fly everywhere. Let me get a different brush. Let's try this brush. Because with the flakes, you definitely need something that is firm and you can really get burnished in there. All right, I'm going to pour a bunch in the head. So where that other glitter is, this won't stick. But I'm hoping, you know, that if I missed any spots, then this will kind of cover that. And maybe just, you know, give a different look. And I do find it easier if you like use tweezers and get a bunch in there, because that does help. At least to me it does. Oh, sorry guys. So, you know, it might be a Halloween or it might be dinosaurs. I don't know. We will find something to put in there. All right, so we've got this one pretty much covered. Let me get my switching sponge, because I think the last time I made these, I believe I just used the regular Chameleon powders. So why don't we, and we'll do the Galaxy for this little one here. And this one I'm going to probably have to use my skinnier brush because he has a smaller head. And he does have like little spiny things on his back. Oop, now I got flakes going everywhere. I'm gonna have to use my Susie Bug vacuum. Yeah, so that brush is just not firm enough to get a good, like, burnish. So I went back in with this brush. Because with the flakes, you definitely want to make sure that you really burnish them in. That's what, when I first started, that's was my biggest problem with these. You know, I see them go in and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, they're in there, but there wasn't enough in there to like burnish them smooth, because you don't want them to look polka dotted. And that's how, when I first started using these, that's how my pieces looked. So I didn't use them for a long time until I realized what I was doing wrong. So yeah, you definitely want to get them burnished in there. And then we are going to run this through the Resiners curing machine, the new 2-in-1. I love that thing, guys. I'm not getting the bubbles. I'm not getting as much shrinkage. So I have a discount code for that as well, if anybody is interested. So I am going to go through my all my links. I'm going to try to streamline and clean it up a little bit, guys, because right now I keep running out of room. So I'm like, oh my gosh, because it only allows you to put so much. So I got to clean that up. So that might be a thing I'll be doing this weekend. So that will be coming, guys. So please be patient with me. I'm just cleaning my brushes. And I'll just wipe my tweezers down. All right. So let me bring out Susie Bug. That glitter will go, I mean, not glitter, but powder will go everywhere. All right, so let's just color this black now. I was gonna say, I know I had a stick out. So I got 3.5. I might be able to pour another one. I'm not sure. We'll start with the 2, and then we can always pour another one. Alrighty, so let's get these little guys poured. So this one here, I am going to take one of my dotting tools, and I'm going to go down in each one of the little spine thingies on the back, because that's where you're going to get trap bubbles. You know, you can see right there those little indentions right there. These ones aren't that big, but you still want to take that couple of minutes and poke them. It's definitely worth it. Just moving that into the toes. Now the toes are skinny, So those are going to be the last thing to cure. So you want to make sure that you get those, you know, filled in. And this tail. Make sure there is no bubble down in there. Out of these two, this one here is the more difficult one. So I'm just drizzling enough to make sure that he is a little bit domed. Like not crazy overboard, but enough. Okay. And he took a ½ ounce. So yeah, we're gonna I'm just bringing that up into the toes. And then we'll top it off. All right, so that is domed. Let me just move these back out of my way because you know me. All right. Oh, let me see here. What do we got? So we have got 2.5 ounces. So what are we gonna make with 2.5 ounces? That's you know what? I do have this that these have, I've done a couple of these in the UV resin, and they came out really, really good. So why don't we, after I wipe this out, I am going to cover these with just a regular Chameleon powder. I got a little piece of clear right there. All right. So let's get... This is the magenta. This is the grape. Now let's do plum in the grape. And I'm going to use this bigger brush. All right. Because we could use these as embellishments. So we're going to do the two, there's two of these. So we're going to do these in the grape. And I don't believe these hold very much at all, but we'll find out. Because like I said, I've only done them in UV resin. I haven't done them in regular resin. That's really pretty. Just want to make sure I get those little corners. I was like, well, I'll just make extra. And if we have extra, that's fine, because I knew I had already poured part of that. So, all right. So let's go with the plum. And we'll do, I haven't done these. The only things I've done are these two and these two. I haven't done these outer edge ones. So why don't we see what they look like? Then I can always put them in with my extras and we can use them at a later date. If they don't, you know, fit on this. Now I can't even tell if everything is covered up here because I've done the whole thing. It's got to be, right? Yeah, that looks like it's covered. And then, you know, we'll be able to see all the details because this mica powder, once I pour the black in there, that's going to really accentuate these. So I'm trying to get those like outside pieces so we make sure those are covered. All right, now we have two other outside corner pieces. Now, hopefully we have enough to do all of them. Got a hair or something here. Okay. I don't know why that is so dark right there. I'm thinking there must have been some purple or something in there. Well, we're soon gonna find out. Okay. So let's go ahead. Get my stick here. Oh. And I want to make sure that I have enough of these pine cone thingies. Now this is a matte mold, so they came out and they looked with clear UV resin. They looked like frosted glass. They were really, really pretty. But again, there's, you know, a bunch of little spots that can trap bubbles. So just try to, because my resin's getting warm. But because we let it sit so long, it's debubbled nicely. That is the one thing I like about the Bond Crafter. You don't have quite as much of a working time, but if you let it sit for 5 minutes, those bubbles will come out. All right, I'm just trying to make sure there's none stuck down in there. Let's do this one. Sorry, my hand's in the way, guys. Ah. And let me get a little scraper here. Yeah, these ones are a little bit more difficult to pour. You really, I should have poured it in a small paper cup, but, you know, sometimes this just needs a helping hand. So if I move this up, then this will start draining out. Because I over poured right there. All right. So I'm just trying to pour it as a thin stream. Whoa. All right. And that one's a little over. This one is definitely over. Scoop some up here in a minute. I just want to make sure all my little areas are full. Okay. All right, so we're gonna have a little bit of cleanup, but all right, those look good. You know, you take some out, and then you take too much out. You put some in. All right, we're just gonna pour a black dinosaur because this is starting to get thick, and I don't want it to flash cure in my cup. And I didn't spray any alcohol, so I'm probably going to have some bubbles. Yes, I am. All right, and where it's late, you know what? I think I'm just gonna let these cure overnight. All right, I'm just gonna, I'll get this one filled and I'll do the rest off camera, and I will be back on demold, guys. All right, I'll see you on demold. Okay, guys, so this is all cured. So let's get out some of our extras here. Oh, that's pretty. Got a little cleanup on it, but you would put it like that. So that would be really, really pretty. Got two little bubbles, but that's okay. All right. Now this has been, I did this last night and it's now the next afternoon. So these should be completely done. Oh, that is pretty. So you just have to clean up some of this. I mean, it's just basically got to get knocked off. Which I kind of had a feeling when I didn't run into this problem when I did it with the UV resin, but my resin was getting thick. I was trying to get it poured, so all right. If I decide to use one, I will clean it up, but that's one. And like I said, I don't know if we will use these on today's project, but definitely on a future one, because these would make some really, really nice embellishments. I'm trying to get a little bit cleaned up so you can really see kind of what it looks like. All right. But that is absolutely stunning. And I'm going to lay those flat because they're thin, so they're still a little on the bendy side, but look at this. All right, this I'm going to definitely need some nippers. I'd like to maybe use these, but I don't know if it's going to go with the look, so I'm just going to trim a little bit off here. All right. If I decide to use them, I'll go off camera, clean them up, and then I can come back. But just so you guys can see, these are beautiful. I love this mold, guys. This is only the second time that I've poured it, but it is definitely, you know, if I made two more like this, then you could do like the four corners. So yeah, that's those extra pieces. And then I'll have to clean my mold, of course. So I had one dragon, and I have a big bubble there. I don't know. So it's not full. I'm not going to demold this one because I'll fill it on the next project that we do. But let's, and I think I got a bubble in his tail. As long as we can get one. Yeah, he lost this one here. I always lose his dang toes. Poor critter. And yeah, we got a bubble in that tail. I always end up picking this one, and I always end up with bubbles. So hopefully my other one does not have bubbles. And he has a big bubble under his chin. But, I mean, other than that, he's cute. A little deformed, but... All right, let's hopefully we have one good one out of these two, because these are the two that I want to use at least one of. Yay! Yay! He has his fingers and his toes. He's got no bubbles. And we have just a little bit of that glitter that was already in there, which is totally okay with me. He is gorgeous. All right, one success. So I've pulled out a bunch of different things. I don't know exactly what I'm doing, but I do have some sort of a vision. Which is always good when you have a vision. All right, now this guy, his head comes off a little bit mean. Okay, no bubbles. Oh, we got one at the very tip of his tail. So let me just... Okay. Which that little bit isn't going to show with what I'm going to do with them. So remember on the last one that I made like this, I ended up putting like a clear plastic sheet in the front, which it was really cute. I really like that. But because I wanted to use something that was a little bit bigger. All right, so there is our greenish purplish shift and our blue purple, or blue pink, I should say. All right, so let me just clean this up and I will kind of give you an idea of what I'm thinking. All right, let's do the front first because, you know, that's going to be just plain and simple. It's just purple. And we're going to just glue that on after. Now these are going to be thin for another probably 12 hours. More bendy, I should say, not thin. It's going to be thin forever, but just because they're so thin. All right, we're going to set that over there. And let's get our main event out. So my hands have finally cleared up, guys. I have this one cut from where I cut myself on one of the resin projects I was demolding, which that is still a little sore, but so I'd say those gloves work. So thank you, Terry. When they start acting up, I put them on when I go to bed, and I leave them on for anywhere from 25 minutes to 35 minutes. And okay, so this is our box. This is going to go on top of it like this. So I've got a few different things running through my little pea brain. So I want one of these so it looks like he's coming out of the box. I figured that would be kind of cool. I don't think we would have room for the two of them. I think it would take away from it. And this is too close to this color, so we're going to use this guy. And then I'm going to put some trees around it, but let me move the cover for now. So if we put him like that, then I was thinking, I got a couple different options. I could put one in the backdrop like that. Although this one I think would be better because of the face of it. But again, that one's going to blend in too much. Unless, yeah, so these ones might be a little too big. That one would definitely work there. So we could also do that. So that was one option. Then I have these, the the cat that I had taken out. I have a baby one. Or I could do an elephant in the backdrop. You know, and I just put him up higher because there's going to be moss on the bottom and some rocks. So, I am kind of thinking here. I'm not liking the elephant. This mushroom is too big. And then I also have these mushrooms. So, if I used these mushrooms, I would either have to cut them down or we would have to mount him up higher because the mushrooms are way too big. So, let's get some trees in here. And these are just a bag of different trees that I had got online. So I'm gonna try to like lay it down, but I know that's kind of where I want him. We could put that one at an angle even, which would be kind of cool. Just to kind of, you know, give like a forest background type of thing. And then with the moss on the bottom. And then we're going to put lights in. So let's go ahead and let's get our lights going. And I pulled out, I'm going to use the blue ones on this one. So we've just got to unwind them. And these are going to get fed right in through the back. All right. So we just want to get all the lights in, and then we're going to stop right there. Okay. So I'm going to lay that there so I know that, you know, that's where our lights ended. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to stretch it like that. And then I think I'm going to fold it in half again. So it would be 4 strands. And we will see if we can get them all the way around. Yep. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of twist these around, which is going to make it easier when we try to get these adhered. Is that a word? Adhered? Stuck down. We'll just go with stuck down. Yeah. All right. And that way we won't have a ton of the excess wire being shown. Stretched in the 2 corners, stretched in that corner, and then this will run across. So one set of fairy lights you can wrap it like 4 times, fold it in half, so you have, and then we're gonna put some other stuff to, kind of disguise the wires. Let me just squeeze these down. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some UV resin. I'm probably going to use a little bit of E6000 too, but we're going to get it started with the UV resin. And I'm going to use the, here's my little light. We're going to use the UV Bond because this one sets up much quicker. So I'm going to put some underneath there. I'm going to get something to hold that down so I don't have to touch it, and then we're going to set it. We'll get that cured. And I'll do a little bit down in here. And I'm doing a fairly decent amount as far as the line goes. So we might not need no E6000. And we're going to do this area right in here. Okay. And we'll do this little section here. Let's see. So last time I kind of made, when I spaced them, you know, a little bit more scattered throughout. So I figured this time we would try doing it this way. And see what kind of look we get. And then we have one other little section right in here. And then these are going to all get disguised on the bottom. Okay. And our little blue lights are working. All right. So we need to get, let's get a few of these trees. Kind of in here. So with these, I don't have to worry if they're too thick, because we're not putting the plastic on the front. So even if it was, you know, sticking out too high, it would be fine. Let me just see what other trees that we have in here that might give us a little bit of a different look. I mean, those are too big. I just wanted something that was a little different. All right, but I gotta make sure my little dude fits. All right, so we'll put these two right here. We'll put 2 dots, and then we will stick them in the dots. And then I'll put this under, you know, under the big light. Oh, that one's not quite cured yet. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put a line right here. And then I'm gonna try and cure it from underneath. And that will hide some of that on the side. And if that doesn't hold it down, then I'll have to use some E6000, which will take a little longer, but where's my... All right, so I'm just gonna lift this up and out. And then I'll just get that cured. Let me see if I can get that. We'll do this one first. and then we can put this little one back in. Okay. So you definitely got to hold them down if you want them to stick. They need that pressure to, as it's curing. There we go. All right. So we've got him that can go right there. And we're going to have some moss. And that one's going to be too big. And he's going to need some more UV resin. So what I'll probably do is grab my big flashlight, and that way we can while I'm figuring out what else I want to put in there. So I do have a few rocks. We might put a few little trees like in front of the little dinosaur. I get all kinds of little things in here. We've got some little critters. Let me see what we have for little. That might even be cute. And then we can always move him over. Yeah, all right, why don't we do that? But I want to see if he's going to look better in some moss. I want to get some moss down first. So we can start covering some of the wires. Put the light on so I can So I'm thinking if we spread this on the bottom, it will give the, let's see, you know, the illusion that it's the ground, and yet it will still cover the lights behind it. but yeah, we'll still see the lights. And then if we put Mr. Squirrel, yeah, I think that would be cute. All right, now, I need something to kind of hold it up so I can put the UV resin and cure it. And I want to tack it so it's not going to move, but I don't want it to be like completely smushed either. And then we will just drop a little something down in this corner. Ah. So I figured this, a little boy might like this in his room. Like a little nightlight. Got some UV on my hand, so I'm getting that off right away. All right, now let's get, hang on here. Our tree done come undone. So how am I gonna do this? So I'm gluing it now to the moss and to the bottom. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna stand this up and cure it because I want it like glued to the bottom, and because it's leaned down, it's kind of running off the bottom, and I need that to be stuck to the bottom. All right, so we're going to use E6000 on Mr. Squirrel. And he's in there. It's moving. All right, let me get my E6000. And we're only going to do this back section. So I'm gonna stick some of this E6000 down in here as well. Just so it will give that little bit of extra. All right, so while that's drying, I'm gonna do some UV resin right there. I got E6000 dripping out everywhere here. Get the cover on here. Move that out of my way. Now, we're gonna have our dinosaur. So I do want to E6000 him, but I will UV resin a couple of spots. But before I do that, let me grab one of my chrome markers here, just so we can give him some accents. Oh, there are a few little bubbles in his little spiny things, but the ones on his head anyways. And we're gonna give him silver eyes. Just so he has a little something different. Okay. So he's going to need some E6000 on the back of his tail and through here. I'm going to see if I can pick up this excess glue that I have down here. Seeing how it's already starting to get tacky, that might be good. All right, now I'm gonna drop some UV resin on around this foot so we can have something helping hold him down. And then I'll do something on the other side. And we'll put some right in this little area. Oh, crap. All right, so that is how it is looking so far. I need to put something in the backdrop here. Let me put you on pause for a minute and figure out what I'm going to do with the backdrop. Okay, guys, are you ready to see what I've done? So I ended up having to take the dinosaur off and mount him to the back. I mean, to the bottom on his own. So this is what I have come up with. Minus the pink clip, I've just got a hold. I have that holding in place because it's still a little soft and I didn't want it to bend in. But that is our little dinosaur kind of creature thingy. I would like to put something on this corner, but I don't know what. Yeah, I was going to put some rocks in, but I think I'm not going to. I think I like it just the way it is, other than this wants to slide down. But that is our little box. And all I did was glued the light to the back. So yeah, that's our little box. And I had this bag of like glitter stars. So I just put a few drops of glue and put a few stars in the sky. So I think that came out kind of cute. Let me know in the comments what you think, guys. And I will get some final pics and I'll do it in my office so I can, make it dark so the light will show up a little bit better. So yeah. Alrighty, guys. I will see you on the next one. Bye.